What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Early Edge. A very happy Friday to everybody in the chat and everybody out there. Hopefully you had a great July 4th. Japan, I see you in there. Brad Morris, Constantinos, Mark Buckholtz, Moshi, David Talk. You're speaking my language with some of the three balls you're recommending. Speaking of, let's see how we did yesterday. We got some X's. We got some green. Good job, Prop Stars. Good job, Buckets. I go 1-1-1, but keep in mind my push on the three ball actually netted money. It actually netted a third of your stake. So that's kind of a win. Only reason that wasn't a flat out win is because Gucheski on the 18th hit a 45-foot putt. So we kind of win a little bit on that one, but it does count as a push in my book. So overall 3-4-1. We got to do better than that. And we're going to do it today with all of you in the chat, including Eric David and Brandon Silva, who have likely already hit the like button. But you know how we do it on Friday. We're short one just today. But, ladies and gentlemen, we got two heavy hitters for Big Pick Energy Friday.
Woo! Let's go!
Wow. Loving all the merchandise here. And is that USA basketball? Chip Patterson, you got to get us started. I've seen, by the speaking of USA basketball, some of the promos for this team we're trotting out there. Pretty cool stuff. Chip, how are you today, my friend?
Good morning, Sia. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Snake. Good morning, Early Edge fam. Yes, Sia, this is a Kevin Durant USA basketball jersey t-shirt. But Sia, I want to give a shout out to you because this man has been grinding all through this holiday weekend. You've seen him on CBS Sports Network. You've seen him on CBS Sports HQ. And you know you've got him here for Big Pick Energy Friday. Can I get some W's in the chat for my man, Sia Nejad, holding things down? See, I've been there on a holiday weekend when you're the guy. You keep saying yes because they keep knocking on your door and you keep crushing it. So I just want to say I see you. Salute. You're doing good work here at CBS Sports and all the properties over the holiday.
I very much appreciate that. Yeah, grinding indeed. I'm actually, Buckets, I don't know if you know this terminology. I'm trying to hit for the cycle here. I'm trying to get on every single CBS platform possible. I just need the actual main CBS hub to contact me. I don't think I have any connections there, Chip, but if I can get on this week, then I hit for the cycle, which is pretty cool. Buckets, let me ask you this, though. A little trivia question. Speaking of Chip Patterson, do you know how many days away we are from college football season?
You know what? This is tough for me because you both said the number multiple times pre-show, and I genuinely don't remember what number you said. So I have no clue how many days we're away. I think it was a round number, but that's all I know.
Chip Patterson, help him out.
Oh, we're 50 days away from the start of college football. We'll be kicking it off in Dublin, Ireland with Florida State and Georgia Tech, because what better way to start the season than with those renegade Noles overseas?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious about that particular matchup overseas, but hey, 50 days away nonetheless. There's somebody, Matt Valenciano says, PropStars has been on fire with the under K props. Speaking of, SportsLine, you might want to go over there because I'm pretty sure PropStars already has one logged in. I'll tell you how to join SportsLine later, Matt, if you're not already there. Oh, you obviously are already there, but for those of you that are not, very easy to join, and we get 60% off, all of that stuff. All right, let's get the picks started. Buckets, I'm going to start with you. You're holding some merchandise to start the show. I don't know if that has anything to do with one of your two picks here, but my friend, you've got the floor.
See, I'm sure you guys can tell I am nervous this morning. My hands are shaking. I'm sweating already. Whatever that song is, we all know how it goes. I'm looking at the big Euro matchup this afternoon between my beloved Deutschland. Germany will be taking on Spain. And as you all know, I've got many a futures ticket on Germany to win this whole competition. And I was feeling really good until I saw we drew Spain, because my word, Spain has been, in my opinion, the most impressive team in this competition, and it's not even close. I am so tired of watching teams like England, of watching teams like France. I'm thankful Belgium's out because I was tired of watching them too have these tremendous attacking forces and not scoring any goals. England not being able to score against Slovakia. We've got France only beating Belgium off of an own goal. It's embarrassing performances, but unfortunately, Spain doesn't play like that. Spain's best goal scorer didn't score last match, and they still put up 4 goals in their first knockout match. This should be a tremendous game. We should see goals from both sides of the pitch. We should see a ton of goals in this one, and I'm just praying to whoever's listening that Germany survives this matchup. But from a betting perspective, keep this one nice and easy, baby. Both teams to score currently at -120 is an absolute gift of a line. I know that in matchups like this, teams tend to play a little more defensive, but Germany's not going to play defensive because they don't know how. And Spain, to beat Germany, is going to need to score at least 2 here. So give me both teams to score on that one every day. Then this evening, we've got Copa America. We've got a matchup between the massive giant in North America, Canada, taking on Venezuela in the quarterfinal. Canada are for some reason the favorites. I'm not going to pretend like I understand the lines at all. USA were the favorites against Uruguay, so I feel like the books are kind of just guessing at this point. But I'm going with Venezuela on the draw no bet at -105. Venezuela have not lost in their past 8 matches. They won all 3 of their group stage matches. This team, in my opinion, is way better than Canada, but I feel like we're getting a little bit of the bias now that USA is out. We all want to bet on an American, North American side, whatever you want to call it. So we're betting on Canada. That's the bad bet here. Venezuela win this one outright, but give yourself that safety net at -105.
All right, Venezuela draw no bet. As far as the first one, I know you got both teams to score, which for the record, Bradley Jacobs, interesting. I could have said, by the way, Bradley Jacobs, but I said for the record. So I'm starting to scale down the by the ways. I just want everybody to notice my progress here. But Bradley Jacobs also likes that both teams to score play. Ali Lonzak also says Freya has been on fire. Is this, just so we're clear, Buckets, it's Friday, so these are your picks, not Freya's, correct?
The Spain-Germany play is Freya's pick. The Venezuela-Canada pick is my pick. So use your unit unit allocation correctly based on that information that you've now been provided.
Well, Buckets, if I were, and hypothetically speaking, if I were to challenge you or Freya, because I want to know who the showdown would be against in that Germany-Spain match. If I were to hypothetically take Spain, who would my showdown be against?
Well, I think Spain win the game, so probably against no one. Unless if you're saying both teams don't score, then you're going against Freya.
No. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So we at least have a lean towards Spain, right? Because I know Martin Green on Wednesday when we were on the network show, I'm pretty sure Martin Green was kind of at least leaning towards Spain. I think somebody acknowledged that in the chat as well.
They did, yeah. Martin actually gave out both teams to score on this matchup as well, but he had Spain winning this one 2-1. I had this ending in a 2-2 draw with Spain going through on penalties. So we both think Spain advance in this one.
All right. What was it? Amags. Amags is in the chat, and he has some stuff to say about some home runs. Real quick, he says, good morning, y'all. Looks like some great hitting weather in the LA versus Cubs game today. I'm playing Bellinger and Bush for home runs. So check that out if you want to ask Amags about any baseball questions, because some of our baseball guys aren't on today's show. Amags can answer those for you. And if you want to place that home run prop, well, you know we got a great home run promo for BetMGM, but we've got other promos too, including this one. If you haven't taken advantage of it, I'm honestly not sure what you're doing because this is so legit. New BetMGM customers can sign up today and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10 and you receive up to $1,500 instantly. If your bet loses with bonus code EDGE, that's bonus code EDGE, EDGE. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get to some golf, a little bit of baseball. Maybe Amags and others will help us out in the chat. Moshi, Japan. I know you all, David Talk, you all have some baseball plays always for us as well. I'm leaving out 10 or 15 names there, so apologies there because I know all of you love to get involved. I'm going to get involved with a golf pick and a baseball pick right after this message from our partners. Well, this is very interesting because somebody asked Amags about the Yankees in the chat, and this filters into one of my two plays pretty well. So that's probably where I'm going to start. Danny Brasco says, Sia with the big shirt energy. Listen, I'm like a traffic cone right now. Caution, perhaps with my baseball picks, because I won the last one, but I've been pretty cold. Nonetheless, Amex says Yanks need a win, but he was answering a question, but tough to back them as a favorite in any capacity right now. Lefties have tore up Boston lineup, but Houck could also be tough on the Yanks. I will say this. The Red Sox, OPS-wise, have been pretty good against lefties over the last, short sample size, over the last 20 days or so. So something to consider there. Nestor Cortez wasn't very good his last time out. Neither was Tanner Houck. He got lit up by the Padres. With all of that said, when I get the Red Sox first 5 plus a half with what I think might be the better pitcher on the mound and the bats that I think are at least a little bit better right now, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take the run line, Red Sox first 5 plus a half. If you don't want to take the run line, you can get this at like plus 115, just straight up money line. But I got the Red Sox first 5 plus a half at minus 130. Again, I'm largely fading the Yankees bats right now and Cortez. They're coming off losing 3 in a row to the Cincinnati Reds. I think the Red Sox are playing a little bit better, both with the bats and the pitching in this particular situation. So I'm targeting the first 5 plus a half, minus 130. That's one of 2 plays. Next play, we're going to golf. I'm taking Sung J M in a 3-ball. I think David Talk was on this earlier in terms of referencing it. Sung J M minus 105 over Jake Knapp and Luke List. This is just a much better course fit for Sung J M than it is Jake Knapp and Luke List. And that bore out yesterday. Neither Jake Knapp nor Luke List played very well. Luke List, classically a pretty good ball striker, but can usually fail with the putter. That's what I anticipate here today. And then Jake Knapp, this isn't really the course for him. You kind of want to be in the fairway here, and you want to be dialed in with the ball striking from an approach standpoint. This is not really the course for Jake Knapp, who can kind of sometimes spray it off the tee. Sung J M, very methodical, was very good yesterday. I like him in a 3-ball minus 105. I will say this, if you watch the early wedge, our outrights, and there's only a handful of them because we typically don't each come with like 5 outrights. I came with 5. I think Patrick McDonald came with 1. EC might have had 2 or 3. Denny McCarthy was one of the 2 for both Patrick McDonald and EC. Mine were Davis Thompson, Sepp Straka, Luke Clanton, Chandler Phillips, and Ben Coles. 4 of those 5 are inside the top 20. And Chandler Phillips, last time I checked, was T3. We got Straka charging, Luke Clanton at 47-1. We got 100-1 shots, 47-1 shots, 22-1 shots, all participating in this top 20. So again, it's Friday morning. A lot can change, but hopefully you add the Denny McCarthy play in from Patrick McDonald and Eric Cohen, and we've got a serious sweat potentially in a couple of days. So let's wait and see on that. Chip Patterson, I know you love the golf on Fridays. Is that where we're headed today?
Oh, 100%. You know we are going to TPC Deer Run. So I got a question for you, because we're going to be playing with fire. And look, 'tis the season, right? Because this is a firework. This is small margins when we're talking about the 3 balls, because really everyone's going to be out there shooting between 65, 66 and 70, 71, like 4 or 5 strokes. Who's going to make the mistake? Who's going to make that birdie putt? But would you be more interested in a firework if it was plus 200? Because I think, just like a firework, we got to ride the hot hand. And that's a hot hand, Harry Hall. Bogey-free 63 yesterday. He finds himself up inside the top 10. And what I saw, Sia talked earlier about, what you need for the course fit. Did a great job of keeping it in the fairway. Great job on approach. Just his tee to green game, 6th in the field. It was really, really dialed in. And we're going up against Sam Stevens, Will Gordon, both 1 under on the day yesterday. Will Gordon was just lost with the putter. Just could not get anything going. Lost strokes, bottom 12 in the entire field in terms of strokes gained putting. And for Sam Stevens, he couldn't quite hit the gas. And this is one of those tournaments where if you go out and you play it, normally anybody goes out there like, hey, 1 under, great round of golf. Well, not at the John Deere Classic. So small margins. I realize this is a firework for the extended 4th of July weekend, but at 2-1, we're going with hot hand Harry Hall to keep it going over Sam Stevens and Will Gordon.
You know what's interesting about Harry Hall, because he's certainly not a household name. I guess neither of these 3 are, but Sam Stevens of the 3, more of the household name in terms of like the odds board and things of that nature. But if you look at what, and I just looked at it now, looking at your pick, Chip, Harry Hall's been pretty good. If you look at the last 4 or 5 tournaments, he's gained ball striking in 4 out of the last 5, which might not sound super impressive if it's Sung J M we're talking about, or somebody who's on everybody's radar, but gaining 4 out of 5 is really impressive. And then with the putter, he's gained 3 out of 4. This is not some schlep who's just got hot for a round and potentially can get hot for a second round. This is a guy that when he puts it together for a single round, he tends to put it together for 4 rounds. I say tends to put together. There's a reason why this is plus 200, but I think this is an interesting find because part of the reason, Chip, this is plus 200, I think it's not because of the Will Gordon factor. Like he tends to not compete these days, unfortunately for him. It's the Sam Stevens factor. We're getting such a beneficial number because I think Sam Stevens is in this trio, and I think people think Stevens is going to be good this tournament.
Right. The other thing that stood out to me was going back and you just think about some of the golfers who have success in this tournament. And it's like, it's a Zach Johnson, it's a Lucas Glover, it's a Ryan Moore. Like, it is not necessarily a bomber. And so when you have, and look, I mean, Harry Hall in terms of driving distance did pretty well for himself. I mean, when he needed to go hit it 315 or 330, he was able to do it on Thursday's round, but he is in average. His player profile is not a big driving distance guy. So it's not like you're giving that up to the field here. So I just thought that 2-1 for somebody who obviously is feeling really good about their game and looking locked in was a great opportunity.
Chip, can I ask you just a betting strategy thing?
Sure.
Because when I go on the early wedge and I pick I have a couple, I think top 30s that are in like the plus 230 range. But Ben Coles, who may or may not make the cut, was one of those. Chandler Phillips was one of those. And fortunately, it looks like he's going to make the cut and perhaps be in the top 30. But when they get to like the plus 180 range, plus 210 range, even plus 150, I personally lower my unit size a little bit because I'm getting such a good return. Now, there's the other side of that where it's like, hey, I really like the bet. I want to maximize my return here. But when you're looking at staring down the barrel of a plus 200, do you sometimes like lower the unit size just because of the nature of the number?
I try to find numbers that are appropriate to the golfer based on the implied probability. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
I don't take a Xander Schauffele top 20, right? You know, like you sort of ratchet that up to where you're going to find something in a plus 150 to plus 220, plus 230. And then I just sort of categorize my card based on that. I'm asking you, do you know what I am? Sia? I'm a college football coach that is just asking the quarterback to play within himself. Maybe just a little bit better. You know, I'm not going to ask too much of you. You know, I'm not going to ask somebody to go get a top 5 if they don't have that top 5 game. Maybe they've got a top 20 game. And a lot of times I'll use the implied probabilities to sort of line that up. Not too much alteration on my unit size. It's more about, you know, asking what I think is probable for each golfer.
No, that makes sense. I mean, that's probably the better way to approach it. Buckets, I'm going to come to you before we get to the recap screen because I want to see if there's any soccer questions for you to answer. But I do want to point out, Amags says, I'll have an article. He's been answering questions this entire time. So thank you, Amags. Please hit the like button. If you haven't hit it already for us, hit it for Amags being in the chat. He says, and Danny Braska was in there too. He says, I'll have an article later today on this. I like a small ladder on Gray because there was questions about Gray, Sonny Gray, that is, I assume. When we start at 6, Gosman an option at 8, 9, and 10, and one more you'll have to read to find out. I thought the Gosman game was, I know. Yes. I thought the Gosman game was really interesting walking into Seattle. I considered taking Toronto there, maybe having a play on Toronto, but clearly maybe a ladder play or just a strikeout play on Gosman is the play. If you want to read that article, just go to sportsline.com/join. I can't tell you how easy this is and how inexpensive it is. You just go to sportsline.com/join and find out what I'm talking about. But you type in the promo code winners, you get 60% off the annual plan. You can also just scan that QR code. It'll take you right there. But the promo code again is winners. Get 60% off the annual plan. You get Amags articles, you get all my articles, Patrick McDonald, Eric Cohen, Buckets, you name it. But you also get the picks feature as well. There's the picks feature, there's the analysis feature, and then you really dig deep in there. You get Mike McClure's simulations when it comes to golf and NASCAR and pretty much every other sport. We're approaching football season as we talked about. So there is a lot on SportsLine that honestly, you're not even going to be able to digest all of it. You're just not going to be able to, but you can pick and choose where you want to go. It's a ton of information. Buckets, were there any soccer questions or comments you wanted to respond to before we get to our recap screen?
One thing I will say, Sia, is there's something going around called the draw breaker promo right now, where if you pick a money line team and if that match ends in a draw, you get your wager back. If I was going to use that on any soccer matchup today, I would look to do it on France in that match against Portugal this afternoon, or Venezuela on the money line at plus 190. I think those are your best shots of that game, either hitting or ending in a draw to get that wager back. That's the only thing I have to add, though.
All right. I love that. I know Bradley's been in here dishing out some knowledge as well, along with Moshi and plenty of others. I see some new names in here, which I absolutely love. Tell your friends. Kirk Schroy, you're not new, but Landon Lai, I haven't seen you before. Maybe that's just my eyes not seeing you, but you say, I love me some Amags. He was our third analyst on the show, or I should say fourth analyst on the show. Very much appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the recap screen before we get out of here. We've got a lot of golf. We got a lot of baseball. We got a lot of soccer. Red Sox first 5 plus a half at -130. And don't forget, we've got picks already in SportsLine. An Amag's article is coming out later today. You're going to want to catch that. John Deere Classic, Sung J M in a 3-ball over Jake Knapp and Luke List. That's this afternoon. I think it goes off in a couple of hours. Same with this Harry Hall pick from Chip Patterson. Harry Hall plus 200 over Sam Stevens and Will Gordon. Let's see if Harry Hall can stay hot. Buckets, Spain, Germany, both teams to score -120. Of course, I've got my lean on Spain. I am a big-time soccer capper, folks. If you're new to the show, that was definitely sarcasm, by the way. Venezuela, draw no bet. That's the other one from Buckets at -105. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a great show. Thanks mostly to all of you in the chat. Really appreciate you all being in here. I want to give everybody a shout out when they get in here. I want all of you to hit the like button and give it back to us a little bit with that every time you're in here. We'll be here tomorrow with Mackenzie Brooks on a Saturday morning. And then, of course, every single day we're coming to you at 10 o'clock with everything that is on the slate and more. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great Friday. Sorry for the traffic cone shirt. Let's stay positive. Let's cash some tickets, watch some golf, watch some soccer, watch some baseball. We'll all celebrate together on Twitter. Have a great Friday. On behalf of Chip Patterson, Buckets, Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s, and every single person, including Amags, in the chat, have a happy Friday. I'm the Counselor of Cash. We rest our case.